I just did a video on preventative health care, if you will, gallbladder flushes, gallbladder liver flushes, and I've talked about this before I know it. When I was going to do my internship, we had a choice of clinics. There were 4 clinics that we could do our internships at, and I knew that I had to be at the downtown ghetto clinic. I don't know why I knew I had to be there. I just had to be there. I wasn't feeling real confident as a doctor, but a variety of patients came there. They called it the colonic clinic. If you don't know what a colonic is, it's a very effective enema. It gets a lot higher up into the bowel and cleans the bowel out. And there was our clinician was a big, not tall, big black man. He was the heavyweight wrestling champion in the United States Forces. My father met him and, excuse me, tried to put it in perspective who he was. He'd become a lieutenant colonel in a day in the Army when the prejudices were still there. I'm sure they're not there anymore, I'm sure. But my dad was just absolutely almost overwhelmed with this man and who he was and who he'd become in his lifetime. He finished the military, went into chiropractic college, and then decided to stay as a clinician. And a lot of clinicians disliked him mainly because of the manner in which he treated us. But at one point, he came and he would lecture to us once a week or so, and he came into the interns lounge, and he said, "Docs, I don't care what you do to your patients." He said, if your patient's laying on the table and you climb onto the table, squat over them, and shit on their chest, if they get better and you call it therapy, I'll sign the papers. And all he was saying was, whatever you believe in, whatever magic, whatever healing, whatever it takes for you to do as a healer to accomplish what you're doing, do it. And he was the one at risk. It was his license that was risk. If one of us got sued for malpractice, it was his license because we didn't have one yet. Healing has too many facets to understand. Healing has too many facets to say, oh, high blood pressure, this pill. Heart attack, this operation. There's no proof that those things are working. In fact, I was reading yesterday that there's proof that the amount of drugs, and they say that if you have a heart problem, you come out with at least 4 drugs. They're not sure of the interaction between the 4 drugs, but it's almost considered malpractice if you don't prescribe those 4 drugs. My twin brother, who's a nurse, said that hospital protocol is not dictated by doctors, it's dictated by the insurance companies. Oh, you have to do this as a prevention, you have to do that, you have to do that. And so they don't have much leverage on what they can do. They have to do because the insurance companies want to make as much money as they can, and they don't want people to sue the doctors. So the doctors do all these things that may not be appropriate. If you want to get healthy, you're going to have to take care of yourself. If you're a healer, you're going to have to find a system that you believe in, something that you know that works. And when it reaches its limitations, to have the courage and the maturity and the professionalism to say, this is outside my realm of expertise. It's not going to work for you. So just some things, just a little bit on healing magic, because a lot of times that's what it is. You do one thing to one patient. Just an example, I had a lady with chronic headaches for 8 years. She tested up to a flower remedy and was going to call her husband and tell her husband that she'd wasted a couple $100 on a quack that gave her water. And she noticed for the first time in 8 years she didn't have a headache. If I went to the next patient who had headaches and tried to do the same thing again, it wouldn't work. In kinesiology, you have to fix what you find, and that's the beauty of it. You're unique. Everybody is unique. They all have different systems, and kinesiology allows you to apply a system. That's why George called it applied kinesiology, a system that works for individuals. That's my hit on healing magic. Thanks for listening. www.micpeakperformance.com